Article 7 of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples declares that Indigenous peoples have the collective right to live in freedom, peace, and security as distinct peoples and shall not be subjected to any act of genocide or any other act of violence, including forcibly removing children of the group to another group. Article 26 declares Indigenous peoples have the right to the lands, territories, and resources which they have traditionally owned, occupied, or otherwise used or acquired. I sleep on the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of the Mascui Nation, who have lived here for time immemorial. Pesticide, herbicide, ecocide, suicide, and Latinicide means killer, or the act of killing. Culturecide, languagecide, spiritside, ethnocide, are not these acts of genocide? Let's take away their culture, let's take away their land, let's take away their future and put them in a band. We'll take away their sovereignty, we'll take away their rights, we'll take away their liberty, we'll take away their might. I'll feed you my religion, but fail to add the love. Does it matter what I do to you? You'll be saved above. Let me teach your children so they can get ahead, learn the English language or maybe French instead. Here, I say, this land's for you that you can call your own, but just don't try to title it or mortgage a loan. Here's a pass we made for you in case you need to leave. Permission might be granted depending on your need. A pass to get married or visit your kid's school, to hunt for game or ask for rations. This is the new rule. There's a man that you can ask, an agent just for you. He's here to watch you Indians, to see what you might do. The Indians are a problem, see, that we just need to solve. They are savage and barbaric and have no white man skills at all. So let's just steal their children, teach them the white man rules, trade their parents' language culture for residential schools. And while their children are away, let's prohibit, yet provide for them the drinks, and punish and mock them for getting inebriated. No one will see the link. Oh, and in the 60s, 70s, 80s, why not do a scoop? Give their children to white parents, create another loop, a cycle of dependency, a cycle of despair, give them cause for violence, beliefs that no one cares. Is anyone aware? Does someone care? By the time the 90s come, when the schools close at last, the foster care will be set up to break them from their past. Let's demand sterilization to weaken their nation, incarcerate their chiefs, let the drunks sleep on the streets, throw the men in prison, put women in the cells, place the kids in foster care, create for them a hell. We'll call upon the Mounties to enforce the rules, making sure we give them all the necessary tools to deliver the right sanctions to keep them in their place, but not protect their women who suffer violence and disgrace. We'll patrol and cruise along the highway of their tears, taking very few precautions to alleviate fears of abuse, abduction, pain, and death, of sickness and disease. Let's ensure our health care does not put them at ease, that they will be well treated when they walk into the doors of any institution that was founded on the floors of this land that we call home, yet we've ripped out from under their feet, fracking, extracting, damming, polluting air, rivers, lakes, and seas, masking environmental and systemic racism, ignoring contaminated water systems, endangering native plant and animal species, destroying ancient forests of old-growth trees. Eventually, will we wake up and hear your plea to stop? Wake up! Wake up! I think I hear you say this land belongs to us to share. This history of not just the past is a burden we must all bear. You say I'm your little sister who joined this family late. You welcome me to the table of respect and not of hate. You invite me to share this land, to care for it together, not to claim it as a prize to own, but to love it as we would our mother. The birds, the stars, the mountains, the living plants, they are all our relatives, even the water and the ants. You beckon me to enjoy alongside you what has been entrusted to us all, not just a few. Reconciliation is a longing of the heart. Remembering the past is the place to start. To publicly say we're sorry is one thing we have done, but unless we treat you as equals, we're just giving you a crumb that does not satisfy, but only brings despair, hope crushed once again, another burden to bear, that reconciliation is just a fictitious word that sounds good on paper or when it's heard by the settler who keeps on living on the land without duress. Nothing changes, all is well, life in Canada is the best. But what is best? Is it job prospects? Capitalism, socialism, democracy, environmentalism, sovereignty? These questions have no answers to which we'll all agree. But can we join together, turn toward each other and to the others who have risen to the call, aligning with your longings that all things shall be well? Repatriation is a word that often has been used to rightly turn land back to the ones who've falsely been accused, who have suffered deep pain, given cause for agitation. But there's also another word to use. It's called rematriation. To return to Mother Earth, let her heal our ails, bringing her what we've made desolate, barren, and frail. To restore the fish and fauna and rewild the land again, making Earth a refuge for our children and our kin. It's not me versus you, but we together in reverence and humility before Creator whose breath fills us all. To pray we won't fall into cycles of self-destruction, pity or blame or reduction of who we are meant to be, not bound to the past, but free. You've shown us that you cannot be suppressed, intimidated, annihilated, though we've sure put you to the test. Your spirit, although Bruce, has not been killed. You are resilient, wise, courageous, and filled with determination to keep on living, drumming and dancing with thanksgiving, releasing unhealthy inhibitions, recovering matriarchal traditions, celebrating diversity of cultures, offering tobacco to your elders who instruct you not just to exist, but to create something new and to resist measuring success just by economics, education degrees, and purely profits, but to reclaim language and rename places, recognizing the sacredness of spaces. May we interface with you respectfully, in truth, in honesty, and learn how to teach our children and their children, the new immigrants, their children and grandchildren, not about our ways, but about you who dwelt here first. Teach us, younger siblings, your ways that will give us a thirst to develop increasing awareness of this earth and all its goodness. Taking time to listen to what the land is speaking, what the desecrated parts are needing, so it can be restored to keep on feeding future generations who deserve to be breathing air cleaned by trees and native plant species. We don't want our kids to forget and live the life that we regret. We need you. We remember you. We remember more than 6,000 school children who died when in our care. Many left in unmarked graves. This grief their families still bear. And the rest of the 150,000 kids taken from their family home, most against their parents' wishes, thrust into the unknown to live in deplorable conditions, yet somehow they survived to pick up the pieces of their fragmented lives. We remember the loyal, faithful soldiers who gave their lives to fight, and those decorated in the military yet denied the right to claim citizenship or farmland to cultivate as their own, but returned to reserves to be governed by the throne. We remember the infants who were torn from their mother's breast and placed with other families, many who tried but did not know best how to nurture their fostered or adopted children in their ancestral ways, so far removed from their grandparents' wizened gaze. We remember the thousands of missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and 2S LGBTQIA+ people, each and every one deeply loved and irreplaceable. We speak out your names. We remember your fame, not for what has happened or what has been done, but because of who you are, each and every one. You have blessed the earth with your presence. Each of you lives on in your essence. We remember you. We remember you. Let's pause here for a few seconds to pray we will learn the lessons that our past is longing to teach. Now as we close, let us speak, breathe, cry, whisper, or shout the name of someone we care about. We remember you. We remember you. All our relations, please remember us too.